Good evening and welcome to another MTV Community Forum. I'm your host Byron Campbell and of course Chris Dialli. Good evening, Chris. It's Carnival. You can see it here, right here with me and on the set.
Yes, Byron.
Right.
Good evening. And good evening to our viewers and listeners. We welcome you back to another community forum. And of course, as we say, we in Carnival season, you see the vibrant colors of red and yellow and orange. We're trying to heat up the place.
But I want to tell you, Chris, we have a special guest later joining us, no other than Shlomo Wells. And we're talking culture, we're talking Carnival, emancipation, we're talking politics, everything with Shlomo later. So we're going to have a nice conversation with her, so stay tuned. Chris, there's a lot happening. I understand the government started its budget preparation 26 today in a consultation with its key stakeholders, well, the ministry, that's officials, PSs and other project holders and so on. What do you anticipate?
Well, no.
Is it an election budget you think that's coming, Chris?
I suspect it will have some issues with relating to the election budget. 2026 is the next due election cycle.
Yeah.
So we're in 2025, so you can expect that it will have some of that. I only hope that this year, with the consultation starting this early, we don't get a postponed budget and present it in March of the next year.
Yeah.
And we get it early and it happens before the end of 2025 because it makes it administratively much easier to handle things when we do it early. So everybody knows what's coming for 2026 or not coming. So that is something I hope they work on this year and they get it out. They start consultations early. Let us hope they could finalize it as early as possible.
Exactly. Well, we look forward to hearing more about this. I suppose there will be community consultations and with the budget. Stakeholders, yeah, right. Chris, well, it's Carnival, you know, it's mass, it's here. The status of the shows look very positive. The crowds are there. We have, but you know, it's happening. But interesting on the MTV News earlier today. With interviewing vendors in the city, they were saying they feel the money's not theirs yet. They're not seeing the spending. Should we be concerned about that?
Well, this week is the culmination of the Carnival festivities.
Yeah.
There are a lot of big fetes going on, so I suspect the fetes
Yeah.
being taking some of the spending power of the average person so that the vendors are not feeling it.
And the cruises are very popular too.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when you mix that in, and you know you have to split the pie where you spend what. Now the vendors obviously will be targeting more the foreigners coming in, as well as returning Grenadians to buy their spices and whatever else they buy. They go over cheese and so on. So I suppose that is where there's some delay in what they're saying, that they're not seeing as much as they ought to. But I think it will improve as the shows
and we'll talk more about that with our special guest this evening, and of course. So we'll talk more about this. Chris, the whole question of crime and justice. Recent sentencing of the catamaran killers, let's call it that brutal crime of, these two tourists, yachties. They got a lengthy jail time for their crimes. Most people think it's deserving given what happened. But the lawyers, interestingly, spoke out. I mean, they felt, yes, the penalties to the crime, that was not the issue. The issue for them was what is generating these type of crimes in our community. They believe that it has to do, what are the factors generating this violent behaviors? So they think it has to do with the socioeconomic conditions in the community. I mean, we don't have time this evening to talk about this, but it's interesting, I thought, that they are raising this.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, what drives people to behave in the manner they behave, criminally or otherwise, can be complex. It could be socioeconomic. It could be a lack of, family units, a number of things, social issues that could come up. It could be drugs. It could be a lot of things that's happening around those individuals. And the result of the actions that they take sometimes are criminal, and in this case here, with these guys, with the tourists, it was violent and heinous. So at the end of the day, you could have a whole program to discuss that and what could be driving that. And I could understand the criminal lawyers are concerned, because when you look at the average day and what is happening with gun violence still in the society, even after the government had launched the amnesty, it wouldn't appear that that has caused any significant dent. and young men, particularly young men, are engaging in these violent acts with weapons. If it's not cutlass and so on, now it's guns, and guns seem to be the priority. So we do have our
issues, yeah.
we do need to discuss it.
Yeah, a commentator, I think it was Dr. Pierre, who says that, commenting on the community and so on, he says, you need to pose 4 questions. And this is pertaining to youths in the community. Can they find decent work? Can they own land? Do they have access to mental health support? And interesting, the 4th one is, can they speak in policy spaces? And the answers to most of them is no.
Well, I disagree. Let's start with the first one.
Okay.
Could they find work?
Decent work.
Yeah, well, what is decent?
Well, are they trained? Do they have the training to find this work?
Well, that's another issue.
Well, that's the point. So it's related to that.
But generally, our men in the society don't want to work.
Yeah.
We have major labor shortages in all sectors in the Grenadian economy, whether it's construction, whether it's agriculture, whether it's retail,
but
trade.
Are they trained to
do but this? You go to, most of us have free secondary education. If you have a secondary education, or you go to the school in up by Guelph up there, what it is, you get certain, but the attitude to work is a problem.
That's an issue by itself.
So that's my point. So
I agree.
I hear this thing about the youths and the work, but when you employ youths, what we see happening, if you do interviews for a position, whether it is professional or not, you will get 5 people that you choose, and out of that 5, you may 3 or 4 are women.
It's true.
And the men are absent.
One of the other issues, Chris, that they talked about is the overcrowding in the prisons. It's designed to hold 150, it's almost 400 now. And so it's breeding crimes and worse crimes.
And who is the majority of them?
Young males.
Yes, that's the point.
Absolutely. Dominated by young males.
So the problem is young males have a problem.
Yeah.
And you hardly seen women in this thing. So it is
there's 2 or 3 women. I mean,
so it's a real issue from that point of view. So I hear what the guy is saying about land, and there is initiatives to have land, but how many of them want to go in agriculture? If they come by you to work and you're paying them $60 a day, and they only want to give you 3 or 4 hours work.
So what he's saying is that we need to invest in evidence-based youth policies, policies that. But that's another question. Maybe we'll have the good gentleman on our program sometime, Chris. But we heard recently, Chris, on the MNIB, we heard the chairman, I think this is Chris Riggs, and the senator for private sector was on a special committee, implementation committee, that is, I'm talking about the status of, what's it called, EXMA? Or?
EMIXA.
That's EXEMA, the new private sector, PPP, private sector, government thing. What did you pick up from the report, the update to date?
Well, let me say I listened to both Senator Rahman and Mr. Riggs.
Yeah.
Before I criticize, let me say, first of all, I think it's a noble idea to continue a form of the marketing board for our farmers.
Yes.
And for the country in terms of what it could offer.
Yeah.
And as in everything else, the devil is in the details. We don't have much details. That PPP relationship that is going to be established, we need to understand the details of how it's going to be designed, what is the concessions being offered to the private company. No private company coming into a relationship to lose money. So we have to understand that.
But they're coming in with a monopoly for sugar, rice.
That's right. And that, again, we have to understand the details.
Milk.
And understand how that is going to affect the ordinary man or not.
Yeah.
So, and over what period they will have these kind of things going. So, a lot has to be still said about the details that not a lot of details was presented by the 2 gentlemen. One thing I can say, and I mean, probably I need to make this public statement, I have inside knowledge from the point of view of where I used to serve in marketing mode before. So I can
serve as a chairman for
That's right. So I understand the organization very well. And one of the things, some of the things that they mentioned, for example, doing contracts with farmers, that exists now. Having extension services to assist farmers, that exists now. As a matter of fact, extension services from the Ministry of Agriculture need to be revamped. I've said that before. You and I have discussed that.
It's hardly working.
It's hardly working, working at all. So I don't know what they're going to do different.
I'm laughing, Chris. As you talk of extension, someone told me about a situation where this officer we're talking about declined to visit the farmer because her vehicle, the mud.
Yeah, I mean...
Condition of the road.
Come on.
She's not going to bring her vehicle there. But anyway, so Chris, yeah, but
and there are a number of things.
But maybe we should have these individuals on our program so they can talk about it some
more. They have
more.
indicated that more details will be released when they form up arrangements with the private company that has been invited to participate in this private sector, public-private sector partnership. But to me, what was said by the two gentlemen is nothing new from the point of view of what Marketing Board used to do and what they wanted to continue to do. I want to say one thing. You know, when we had the COVID crisis, Marketing Board was one of the few institutions that gave support to farmers that was not expected, but was very welcome.
I know about this.
Right, and that is one of the things, if you have a PPR, a PPP relationship, could we have that still under a crisis situation like that? Marketing Board kept its doors open in the River Road operation and accepted vegetables and fruits from farmers.
So it was a service.
Yes, itself. And the farmers appreciated that there's something go to spoilage. Yeah. And they could have sold their stuff. You may have taken them a little while to get their money, but, and I want to say this as well. You know, Marketing Board never had to be in a situation it is, and it came into when NDC came into power, because NNP didn't do what they had to do. Yeah. You understand? A presentation was made to Cabinet and it was accepted, but it just didn't go through with what had to be done. And if that was done, Marketing Board would have never been in the position.
So the previous government had to take some responsibility.
I could say that with confidence, because I was the one presenting to Cabinet.
Precisely, yeah.
And it was analyzed and we did what we had to do. So hearing what is happening now with Marketing Board, you have to, as I say, I keep saying, the devil is in the details. Let us see what they come with. And then we could probably critique more or compliment as we need to.
But it's a critical institution, and we wish the implementers much success. Chris, I want to touch on the Gaza situation a little bit, on the Grenada issue, because we know that countries all over the world now are evaluating or reassessing their relationship with Israel, given the ongoing genocide there. That's a fact everywhere, in Europe, South America, the Caribbean and other places. But what was interesting, a couple nights ago on the MTV News, there was a report of a project, and this project, I learned, is being considered by an African investment company called Premier Invest. But what's interesting, this project apparently is to set up it's an aquaponics project, and the goal is to export some 10,000 tons of fish. This is more than our entire catch from the seas. But what was interesting, they intend to use Israeli companies to implement the project. So the project, it's fine, but I think given what's happening globally now, was what consideration was made to, because companies all over are looking to boycott Israel, because it's unacceptable, the genocide situation. So you need to respond with something, given what's happening. But to enter into a project relationship with Israeli companies and Israeli products, I think we should think a bit more about this, what we're getting into at this moment. That's my view on this.
Byron, I always say to you, and I know you're passionate about the Israel and the Gaza situation, nothing has changed.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
Netanyahu said recently that they're not interested in doing no peace initiative, the Palestinians, nor himself. Yeah. And he's looking to extend the war.
Yeah. Right? Occupy Gaza.
And
fully.
And make it fully,
Occupy.
Mash up the country, whatever is his target.
Well, he can't mash up more. Chris.
Well, so I mean, I haven't seen, since this war have started, the world has been, as a matter of fact, the UN and the world has been having no impact in getting Israel to change course. No impact, no matter what we do. Recognizing them as states is interesting. You are saying internationally that I'm going to recognize Palestine as a state unless Israel was to calm down. What that has to do with Israel? If I had to recognize a country as a state, I
recognize it independently.
Yes, not about because Israel is doing what they're doing. So I'm just saying, the hypocrisy is amazing with the world order, with this thing with Israel and what is happening there. So I have no real confidence that anything is going to change in a short space of time. If you come back to your project, the Israelis are one of the world leaders.
They're good, yes.
In aquaponics.
I agree.
And if you want to do a situation here with a project and set up pools to do freshwater fish farming or shrimp, to that extent, you have to get serious people.
But they're not the only ones with this technology.
No. It's not the technology, it's the expertise.
And the expertise. They're not the only ones.
They are foremost in the world in the expertise.
They're not the only ones.
So it is interesting to see, and I know of projects that have been made to this NDC government for shrimp farming and that they haven't done anything with. So this is interesting when they come in over this.
10,000 tons. Anyway, Chris, but we'll talk about that. But clearly, I think, for me, unacceptable in this case. Chris, the final thing, Chris, is that, and I mean, I must compliment the government for this. I mean, from time to time, we've had various medical teams coming in. We've had Cubans, we've had Americans, we've had the Palestinian technical medical team coming in. But now we have it was announced that you have a Nigerian medical team, 5 experts, including specialists, orthopedic specialists and so forth. So I think this is a good thing. They would complement the existing staff at the General Hospital. So kudos. This is excellent. This is very good. And we want to wish them much success.
Yeah, well, as we know in the medical situation, the health sector in Canada, we lack physical resources and human resources. Whether it's nurses or doctors.
So this 5 person is going to make a big difference. It's a specialist
team. It will make a difference. I don't know if it's big or small. It will make a difference.
But it's important,
Yeah. Because remember, we have a lot of Cubans here operating as well.
Exactly,
which have been contributing and making
significantly,
a difference from dentistry to oncology and so on. So we need to also say that.
I think there's an oncologist coming.
Let us see what happens with this move.
Excellent.
And how it's going to change things.
So Chris, we take a break. Viewers, we take a break now. When we come back, as we mentioned earlier on, our special guest tonight, Ms. Shoma Wells. So stay with us. We'll see you momentarily.
Fit for Life and Allied Laboratories, providing quality care and expertise. Fit for Life and Allied Laboratories, see our in-house doctors and our pharmacies. Get expert care and quality tests. When it comes to your health, you deserve the best. Fit for Life and Allied Laboratories, we're taking care of Grenada.
On Wednesday, August 13th, it's Carnival Encore, the ultimate cool down at the Grenada National Stadium. The cool down village opens at 6 p.m. Showtime 7 p.m. It's full stage frenzy with massive performances from Cass.
No sweetness, Daishi weakness, so she
Voice.
Panama junkie people play jamming.
And many more. Tier 1 Chill Zone tickets are just $125. Upgrade to the White Oasis Premium Village for $350. Or take it all the way with access to the exclusive Carnival Cabana Club. Email sunshinepromoeventsgd@gmail.com for more info. Carnival Encore.
I don't know about you, but I come here to fetch, come to play a man.
The vibes don't end until we say so. Wednesday, August 13th, National Stadium. Get your tickets now from GoToFed.com. Brought to you by Sunshine Promotions.
Go.
Welcome back, viewers. This is Community Forum. As we indicated a little earlier, our guest this evening is Ms. Shoma Wells. That doesn't need much introduction. Shoma has been an icon in Carnival Cultural Foundation, served on many committees and boards. She has also been in the media. We know her across all media, doing her own shows, her own productions, as well as, highlighting various aspects of the business community where needed. When I was in a certain place, she used to work with me. We used to work with the company, highlighting our products and so on and services. So Shoma doesn't need a lot of introduction. So we go calm the introduction down and keep on to discuss with her all the new things that's happening for Carnival 2025. She had a really interesting article she put up recently on Jab Jab and the history of Jab Jab that I took time to read, and I want to start with that one because, in recent time, our Prime Minister had some difficulty with the early onset of the playing of Jab Jab and the possibility that it could disrupt efficiency in the society in terms of traffic and other things, and how that spelt. And of course, there was pushback to some degree, but you ain't hearing that now. And I know the police, when we had Cecil on the program, he said that for Juve morning, the expectation in town, in St. George's, is that Jab will start at 4 a.m. and finish by 9:30. So I want to ask you, from your years of experience and your historical thing with Jab Jab and where it comes from and what it expresses, do you believe that is workable?
Well, let me say good night to all your viewers and listeners. That has always been an expectation for the last maybe 10 or so years. Never materialized. As a matter of fact, I clearly recall one day, bring out the fire engine at 9 o'clock and wash down the street after the last band. There's always that expectation because that is what we grew up with. That is what we knew. Jab came out when outside was dark. And there was a reason for that. And as you claim, I did speak about the genesis of the Jab and other caricatures in Carnival. And if we go back to that, it links back to, if I may, emancipation.
That's right.
You see, a lot of us feel that our Caribbean Carnival is embedded in the French Carnival. And that is so untrue. And I'll tell you why. It would have been the initiation as it relates to mass in the sense of the pretty mass, etc. If you go back to the days of slavery, they tell you that the French celebrated their carnival in the big yard, in the big mansion. They had their big masquerade balls, things like Queen Show with the ladies in their beautiful dresses and so on. All of that came out of that era. But what happened on Emancipation Day? You never hear the French talk about having Juve, yeah? You never hear the French having all these different caricatures that make up their carnival, the Verco, the Wylinian, the Shortney, the Jab, no. So all this came from our ancestors. And when they got their freedom, they themselves were afraid to celebrate. So they waited. History explained the actual demeanor at the time. They were ready and they waited, they say, with bated breaths for Petit Jour. So that's where the 4 o'clock comes in. Petit Jour, early day, early light, early morning, to come out in the streets and celebrated on Emancipation Day.
And not be recognized.
Precisely. Yeah? So, because of course they still had to protect themselves, so they came out and celebrated old drum. This is why the Jab come with the chain and the drum and, all of that. And when we look at the Caribbean and we talk about Carnival, our Carnival from a Caribbean perspective was birthed on Emancipation Day. There's no question about it. The history tells us that.
And it's interesting, we celebrated Emancipation Day on the 1st of August. But the context historically to linking it with Carnival was absent in my view.
Well, they had some portrayals in the thing, but the linkage, you see, I believe, Chris and Byron, in order for, I first and foremost believe that we needed to make the 1st of August an official holiday. We could have forfeited probably the 25th or the 19th coming together as one, whatever. But that Monday as well is also important for other activities taking place. But I always opted for the 1st because it's such a historical and important.
When was it
date.
changed, though?
The 1st of August?
No, when was it? No, I know it's now the 1st of August. But when did we put it on the first Monday of August?
Oh, that is a very
When did that?
a very long time ago.
Okay.
You have to bear in mind, if you want to step back a little bit,
going
we
back
used
to
to have
since-
horse racing in Grenada.
That's right, St.
Yes.
Andrews in particular.
But before St. Andrews, remember, horse racing started in Queen's Park.
Yeah.
And the 2 days in August, the 2 at Easter, and the 2 in the New Year. Those were the holidays for horse racing. That evolved over a period of time, and in St. Andrews, Seydou decided to recognize the Monday. We just automatically
That's
call
right.
it Emancipation
Emancipation.
Monday. And that is the evolution that took place there. So they celebrated that. But I tell you this, and Byron being a past chairman of the Grenada Cultural Foundation would stand with me on this. I heard in the news that this has been the first official celebration of emancipation, and that is utterly incorrect. It is the first official holiday of emancipation. Emancipation has been celebrated the day in this country more than 20 years now.
Yeah, and I know that going to Grenville and celebrating.
Well, outside of
and
Grenville, I'm
celebrating,
not talking about the August Monday.
Well, that's when I
I'm
knew it.
talking
That's
about
to
the
show how young I am.
actual
Day in St. George's.
in St.
St.
George's
George's.
by the Grenada Cultural Foundation.
Okay.
That's a fact.
About 20 years ago, there were Ella Andal was on the Carnage. We had stuff in the Tantine on the courts. We've done the Flambeau March. There's some very significant spots in the town of St. George that is very important historically. Melville Street, the dungeons on Melville Street, the square where guys go and play basketball. This is where the slaves were washed down. Slaves were hanged in the market square. They were sold there. You know, down by the library, the boats came in. They had another area there. They used to house them. So, you know, there's so much there that we ignored on this very significant day.
Need to get it back there.
You know.
So let me transition.
But
yeah.
before you transition,
I stay in a job, you
No,
know?
no. I'm talking emancipation
Spatial.
now. In all of that, we were fortunate to identify a number of free enslaved Africans. We produced cards with the country they came from, whether they were born into slavery here in Grenada, because some of them were, their age, their name, some of them with their African name, and also their injuries. If a hand is missing and white was missing and so on and so forth. And every year, during that day of celebration, the 1st of August, we would distribute that to people in the audience.
Yes.
And that,
You know?
Yes,
that
yes.
just to add something, I suppose that is a file that can be used for the reparations approach
Well, of
that
course.
they're making, so that we know exactly what was Grenada's contribution or not.
Well, you
in
know,
this
and
thing.
our dear Ali Gill was at a point in time on the Cultural Foundation board. So
Yeah, I know that.
it's there for whoever wishes to indulge.
But let me just take a little on the jab and go
Okay.
back a little.
Right.
And what you see, because I hear the historical context, which tends to say, you know, it is a way to celebrate and to rebel from the slavery and all that came with that. And you still find, you still find areas in the society where jab is looked at as or playing jab, of getting involved in jab, and the things that they engage in, still trying to promote this rebellious attitude to things in society. It's not like in Calypso where you will sing about issues politically and otherwise and highlight social issues, and jab seems to want to rebel against anything that they figure is not the right thing, and doing it under alcohol and I think this is a concern that some people have. I mean, it is a lot more structured now, don't get me wrong, Shoma. You have bands with band leaders and so on, and they try to control, but when you look at the pockets that has emerged in some of the villages and so on, you see this aspect of rebellion. What is your take on that?
Well, we must step back before we go forward, and everything evolves, some for the good, some for the bad, yeah? We know that the nature of the job is birthed in revolution, to revolt, to always be anti whatever system. That is how that's the genesis of it, because it was, hey, I am going to portray massa as a devil. Yes? If you understand the idea of the original job, you hear they say capital. A lot of people don't understand what that is. But there's always that leader who controls it. They had the Bible, and people would, you have to also have to think what colonialism has done to us as a people in the mindset, the mental preparation to be anti anything that is relating to our ancestors. That has happened over the years. Yeah? So you have that character coming from that and saying, you, Massa, if you know who I am, and you know that I am the one that could read, because I used to read, I learned to read from the Bible you brought, yeah? You will kill me. So I have to disguise myself. So when the job ban comes along, and you hear the spelling, you don't have that anymore, by the way. So they ask them to spell, and Job would spell or recite something from the Bible. Mind you, there's a similarity to that with Shakespeare Mass in Carnival, which again has its origin from slavery.
And if you make mistake, is whip.
Whip. So you have that, and their purpose was to rebel. So they come along with that, and over the years, you find that, again, going back to that emancipation, I am free to express myself.
Yeah.
And if you try to prohibit me, the more I come out. And that is basically what is happening there.
I think Uncle Gary had that first
well, yes.
When
he
tried
to
standify it and bad jam and so on. But we know promote ourselves of a land of 100,000 job.
Yeah.
It is, in the region, when you look at the various carnivals, we are unique in that particular thing in Juve. People come here just to experience that and to see that, and are supposed to be part of it.
But we're not unique with job, eh?
Yeah. Well,
we may be unique. We have a unique type of job.
Yeah.
But the job is very much, you will be surprised to know when you look across Martinique, when you look across a number of the French-oriented countries. Where, and also in South America. There is a group of people that were here from Colombia a few years ago, and surprisingly, they have literally the same sort of caricature. But the only thing is, they go in white instead of black. So anywhere you find people who were enslaved, black people, African people were enslaved, that seemed to have been their preference for resistance.
So I mean, right now, the job is a big thing for Grenada.
Indeed it is.
And what it is and how it attracts visitors to this country. And, you know, you would like to see it evolved. I don't know if that is the right word, or but you'd like to see it evolve and become more structured. Do you believe that is something we need to look at?
What we have, or what it has evolved into, is you have to look at it as if you see, one of the things that we seem to be missing along the line, unlike other countries, is preserving the authenticity of things. And the job that you see on the street on Juve morning, most of it is not the authentic job. They don't have the drums. They don't have,
That's right.
you know, what you see is more commercialized presentation.
In my day, I know we had the thing with claws.
Claws, you don't have the pole.
You're hearing
you don't have
that
the
before you hear anything else.
Yes,
Yeah, that
yes.
thing kind of, you know, so.
So what you see in there, very few bands give you that sort of portrayal, but the mass of it has become a mass of people enjoying themselves, playing music. How do we maintain that authentic character that we inherited?
That's a challenge then.
And we also have to look at pretty mass and how do we maintain that authentic Grenadian cultural mass. It's going, almost gone.
So that's where I want to take you up, Sharma. From your experience, because you have been involved in pageantry and masquerade. So from your experience, is enough being done to support the creative expression? You have commented about there are parents now that are concerned about sending their young to the city to see the mass because the exposure, the
nakedness.
How you call it, Chris?
Nakedness.
Nakedness that is displayed.
Both male and female. I'm not saying it's only female.
Yeah, so where are we going? I want your comments on this, Shoma. What's your concern here?
I want to add one thing before you answer.
Yeah.
And we normally say that this is culture and that culture will change over time, and it has, and it will evolve.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how culture will create more nakedness. Although you could go to Brazil and watch Brazilian Carnival and they're naked all the time, don't they?
Yeah.
And that is their culture.
Yeah.
But how do we get a balance and a, you know, as we change?
Are we just copying somebody else?
Well, it's a copy. It's
yeah.
a copy. It's happening. You have that market that rushes to that sort of thing. But you know, let me say this. I've been involved in Carnival. This year would probably be 50 years.
All your life, Shoma. Yeah. Yes.
Don't age me.
Yeah.
It was 1975, 76, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
When I was first copped into MCing.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
And being a part of Carnival through Lions ran Carnival at the time. And Everett Woodruff was the chairman. And he felt that I worked with TV at the time and brought me in to understudy and to work along with Valerie Steele. So I've been there a long time. What I would say to you, you expect that evolution to take place. But when you reach to the stage where you lack your own identity and you start adapting to others, it tells you that you need to start taking a good look and repurpose yourself.
But is this an economic dimension that's coming in here, Shoma?
Well, there is that aspect of it,
Yeah.
the economic dimension.
Well,
but
the less they weigh, the more it costs.
exactly,
So
and that's
I
a
know
fact.
how much economics in that.
Because
Well, yeah, that's the point.
The beads
Yeah.
and the what
Yeah,
have
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the type of bands that produce these costumes are not what we would call original bands in Grenada.
That's right.
It's not the Andre Garvey, it's not the Helen Marie Well.
So the creativity is not there.
Right. So, but most
Why
of
are
these
bending in
most
England?
of these bands have disappeared. Comanchero is not going to be on the road again this year. Helen Marie has gone only into children's. It's only Andre, literally, and the young fella in Gulf Coast that's really keeping the Grenadian original bands. A lot of the bands now are recent bands that emerged. And why did they emerge at this stage? Because they saw a space where they can actually benefit. They're commercialized bands. They make money. Trust me, they make money. You know, these things are done from not a creative end, but more from a bulk situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And when you talk about the nakedness, from what I was told by most of them, it's optional. If you want to be covered, you can get covered.
Yeah.
So who do you blame for that nakedness?
Yeah, that's a good
The
question.
individuals. Because a lady who wants to play mass she may not want to be looking like that. And there is that option. However, she may feel a bit intimidated to be among all these naked bam around the place.
So we simply accept it and move forward. Sure.
We accept it, but if you see it's a trend that is taking place, look at St. Lucia.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
St. Vincent.
Yeah.
St. Lucia
Yeah.
has a bam wall.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I've seen some of it in Antigua, not as much, but it's getting worse. It's not disappearing.
So Shoma, so maybe we see Carnival in two dimensions.
Two dimensions.
One is the original, the cultural, that is the Veko, the jab, the wild Indian, all of those, you know, all those things, yeah? And then we have the fancy mass, which consists of the nudity and all of that.
I would go further.
Yeah.
Because you see, I think that we're obligated to protect our artisans in Carnival, the wire benders, the designers, etc. And we must find a way to support them and bring them back to life.
So that's a third dimension that we should be working with. Yeah.
So I believe if these folks want to play that, they feel it's a free world and so on, we can create a space for them to play that. We can also create a space for traditional mass and or local mass producers in a different space. So let's say if you want bam bam in the road, you can go down to the Grandlands area, blah blah blah, parade around there, blah blah blah, or tradition or original mass people have their space, the Lagoon Road, wherever the case may be. Right now, you have an issue with vendors. Because these massive trucks cannot go down the carnage. There's nowhere to turn.
They say they're giving them a place to turn now.
Yeah.
Where are they going to turn?
Around where Hubbard's garage was.
Area. And Cecil said to us, they actually did it. And they went down there in a truck and the truck was able to turn.
The truck can turn, but when the next truck coming down, what happens?
Well, they will space it. I said, they must give a certain amount of space.
I know, let's see how it goes.
But
they used to turn them down by the ministry. In that space there before, Let's see.
But that was when he spoke to us about the vending.
Okay.
Shoma, I'm going to move the subject a little bit. We may come back to Carnival because it's right here with us.
It's pretty.
Shoma, you have served on the National Celebrations Committee for a long time.
That's
Again, I'm not going to say...
Not 50 years, though.
Not 50 years.
Wasn't that wrong? 50 years.
How do you assess the cultural dimension of the events? But I want to specifically go to our 50th anniversary celebrations, which cost $15–20 million. I think about $15 million the government indicated. From a cultural standpoint, did we present an authentic story of who we are? In other words, was it well spent? What's your take on this?
What was well spent? The 20 million?
Or the 15 million.
Whatever.
But did we what was the story? What did we gain from this milestone? What could we have done better, possible? Or are you satisfied with what took place? Given your experience and given the role you've played in the past, where you've been.
Well, I think there were some highlights, yes. I believe that some things worked well, but I do believe for that time and that kind of money, there could have been a lot more done. I did not see... Take, for example, it is said that every parish, as per usual, had their own celebrations and so on. But these celebrations, to me, were very minute in terms of impact.
Let me say the word for you, low-key.
Yes, you know, that is one area I felt that they were kind of low on. We did not take the opportunity to explore the possibility of total exposure as to who we are as a people. There was nothing historical, in my opinion, that worked for them. You know, the activities in terms of the cultural activities, Ricardo Keynes Douglas was the producer. I still felt that there was something lacking, So I would not have given them a 90%. I would probably given a total of a 70% as it relates to the whole
And just saying on that a bit, one of the things that had me a little bit disappointed as well is a recognition of the people who would have contributed to the 50 years of us in independence, particularly our women, which you didn't hear a lot about. I don't know if they came up with a final list of who they wanted to award.
Well, they did come up first with the procedures, with the criteria, but we're still waiting on this.
Yeah, that hasn't happened.
Yeah, it hasn't happened.
So that to me is a major part of it, because there's so many Grenadians that have contributed to us getting to 50 in their various ways, in their various specialities that, you know,
and even posthumously,
we go on to 51 and you ain't hearing nothing about that again. So it's like
that's true. I forgot about
it. But did they dismantle
I don't know.
The committee? I don't know.
Yeah.
There are a few things that went amiss.
Anyway, move on. I just wanted...
I agree with the fact that there's so many persons who would have contributed. Yeah. And secondly, regardless of where we are, politically or not, I think that very unfortunately, Dr. Mitchell did not get his due credit for his time within the 50 years.
Yeah.
A picture up in the sky is just not sufficient.
But you know, okay. I'm laughing. But the carnage, a lot of money was spent on the carnage with lights, and you had these information stands. I was there last week, and they are all demolished, vandalized. The lights are no more, they're in storage because they were rusting. Anyway, Shoma, I want to move on again. There's a business dimension of you because you have a master's in business
Before you move on,
okay, fine.
Before you move on, I just want to give you a comparative issue here.
Okay.
In my involvement in independence, our budget used to be less than $1 million.
Yeah, but that's a 50th anniversary. The other thing, Shoma, I think you talk about Dr. Mitchell and he wasn't recognized adequately. But I think it seemed to me that only the politicians got recognized, that they're the only ones that are responsible for the 50 years and the progress we've made.
If you're going to honor politicians, Dr. Mitchell should be
I am against period giving all the recognition to the politicians.
Well, I agree with you.
That's my thing.
I agree with you.
So I am on the other side where you are.
No, I agree with you. But if you're going to,
well, I'm not going to. Okay. So let's move on to the economic side of it. Look, you offer, as I said, you're a business person qualified in this area, and you offer a service in service in training in customer service, particularly Grenada. We are moved from the other sectors. 70% of our economy, GDP, is service-oriented.
Yes.
So we are big in this area. So what's your assessment, Sherman, of where we are in customer services in Grenada as a country that's clearly in global competition? Clearly, that's where we exist. That's where we are. Where are we? How would you? What's your observation here? And what is the response to training and development in this area?
Well, I would say this to you. We are in a terrible state where that is concerned.
Strong word.
Terrible state. Indeed it is. Because I know there have been a lot of effort in training in recent times. GTA has had quite a bit of training in their industry, and they opened it to the public. But my friend, the average person complains bitterly. The visitor complains bitterly. Even in the hospitality industry as well, where a lot of training
hospitality, tourism, right? And retail.
It is unfortunate to know that in this era, and you talk about us, 70% is service, that the corporate citizens, business owners, see customer service training as an expense and not an investment.
Challenge you there, but is that
an expense and not an investment.
One of the things, and I will throw that out to you to get your opinion as well. I still believe we inherit from the colonial area, and we can't distinguish yet the difference between service and servitude.
Okay.
In the minds of our people. So if you're in the hotel sector or you're in the tourism sector, and you're a waiter or you're a bellboy, whatever it is, we look at this as servitude and not service excellence and par excellence. So just as little things, good morning, so how are you going? This is that. we don't do that naturally. And that to me is a major area. In the business community where I was, we spent a lot of time and money on customer service. And a big part of that is making the staff understand that the service is about repeat business.
It's an investment.
Right. So
if
a customer comes into where I used to be before and you greet them good morning and you ask them about the day, how can I help you? And they say, well, I'm sure what they want, and you go through with them what you're offering and so on. They feel as though you want their business. It's not like going in some place and you're walking, nobody tell you good morning, they face it up, they vex what happened last night, and you come to spend your money. But you might walk out because of the reaction.
But you have to remember too, Chris, if you have employees that only understand the concept, regardless whether it was embedded in them, of servitude, you have a problem. You have to change that mindset.
Well,
if you're
that's the point.
serious, you as the owner and the operator of that business need to ensure that your customer service is, look at.
Let me give you an example before you go. Right now, the financial services sector is having a problem with the young tellers on the front line because they want to have the thing in their ears. And the banks and the financial institutions, credit unions are saying, no, if you're on the front line, you cannot have that in your ears.
What are you talking about in your ears?
They
Listening to something in there? Are you crazy?
Right from their phone. And they will tell you they see nothing wrong with it.
If it's wrong again?
You understand? But I'm just saying, this is what is out there now. And the young people who are coming to your establishment, when you try to insist that this cannot hold because you're serving a customer, you might make mistake, you might hear what the customer is saying.
That's a no-no. That's a
no.
That's a no-no. But you know, Chris,
but when you try to press on that, they get upset.
Well, your policies for hiring needs to be reviewed.
Right.
I mean, it is important.
It's in the policy.
You know, but just imagine you call a place and you ask, do you have any napkins for sale? You don't have that, you know. Eh? So you say,
Is that, you don't have that?
excuse me? No, miss, we don't have that. Oh, you would hear, well, sorry, you know, we sell the last set the other day.
Yeah.
Come on. That person obviously do not have a clue.
Yeah. So what is the response to your training, that the trainings are offered there?
Training, I've done quite a bit. I must admit it could have been a lot more. I would love to see other companies actually wanting to invest in that way. Because as you rightfully say, you lose a customer in a bad way. You know, Walmart, a lot of people who travel now, when they go to Walmart, there is some older elderly person at the door saying, welcome. And when that person, have a wonderful day. Because that man who owned Walmart insisted on good customer service.
First
And
things.
that is what has made
The
his
little
business
things.
successful.
It's the little things. It's not the major things. Yes, when you come into the place, you expect to find what you want.
Yes.
That's a different conversation. But the human part of it. It's just answering phones in Grenada. Everything now have gone electronic. And they're giving me a whole menu of 1, 2, 3 to 10 to find somebody.
I call a company and 5 days straight and I never get nobody up to know.
Correct.
So this happens. And that again is
tell you is a
key.
cost issue.
That
Because
is
the
key.
electronic system is cheaper than having an operator.
But they may lose more business.
I have
But
So-
you know, Byron,
Yeah.
it is so important, so imperative
Yeah.
at this stage.
Yeah.
We talk about tourism, we talk about visitors coming to our shows and so on. And if we do not step up our customer service, we have a lot
We're
to
going to lose it because you're talking about the restaurants.
I'm telling you,
all
man.
the retail outlets. So somebody know
But
that.
wait,
Yeah.
one point I want to make. I went to a very popular restaurant the other day. And I sat there and it took me 2 waitresses before I got an order. Yeah? Not only that, I had my daughter, my granddaughter, and so on, me sitting and me eating. I literally had to call one of them and ask them to come. We had a little appetizer and declare the dishes.
No, it's terrible in some
Popular
places.
restaurants.
Yeah,
Tourists there all the time.
Yeah.
So we could do a lot better,
So
Shoma.
yes.
I want to touch your other expertise, Shoma. That is the media. You've worked in the media for many years. We know that Chris talked about this earlier on. Do you feel that do you think that the public is well informed on major cultural and national issues? But in your answer, and I want you also to reflect on the AI tools. This is transforming journalism, education, and even some of the creativity.
Everything.
How are we coping? And what opportunities and risks do you see in the whole shift to AI, especially for young creatives?
You know this better.
Now, we have to look at the dissemination of information via the media. And most of us see it that information should only come via news. But that is not correct. Programs like these, the regular announcer should be well armed with information so they can impart good knowledge and things that are happening in society and so on. Not just come and spin around, yeah man, we'll back up. No. And that is where the media is failing us.
Yes.
And that is simply because in the last, and I did say this more than 10 years ago, what we've been doing is diluting the media and hiring DJs to do the jobs of announcers and broadcasters. So we have that big problem.
Okay, I see that.
You know,
And even just to take that a little further, that is one. Then there is the other aspect of it which bothers me a lot, is the information that these DJs, so-called DJs that are on media, is sometimes so inaccurate. And
they do no research.
They don't even know how to pronounce words properly, and so on. And people like that because we like a bacchanal. We have a bacchanalish kind of thing. So they jump in and so on. But when you get information, it is not information. What they're giving you is just data. Because they don't do any check and process
they
it.
don't. They just get it and they pass it on, and that is generally across the board.
So where would you like to see it go? What's your concern here?
Well, I did sound an alarm years ago, especially to media managers, that they need to look at that carefully and know who they're hiring. But I guess most of them felt they were cheaper. And as a result, they're saving. Hype was taking over, and that's what has happened. I believe that, again, I've made that suggestion. Before you open a microphone, you remember, the FCC in the US, you couldn't be on a radio station or whatever unless you're licensed. I believe that it's timely for the Media Workers Association to start accrediting.
And they have a new management team now,
In other words, before you can, take for example, if you're going to go and lecture, let's say you're an adjunct lecturer,
Yes.
You cannot lecture without having the qualifications to do so.
Number one.
However, you can have someone who has some expertise in some area to come and do a little bit of whatever. I mean, I have
guest lectures.
Right, I have taught at TAMCC. I've lectured at TAMCC, and I've had time when I bring in a makeup artist. She's not qualified to lecture, but she can come and do with makeup and that sort of thing. So I'm saying this to say it can be, not that you want to totally reject them, the DJs and what have you, but if they can't be accredited, they can certainly be like an assistant with that person who is accredited. So in other words, for you to go there, you must go with another person who is a main person who has the accreditation, or get the accreditation, come up to scratch.
New business area for you to be trained in.
Well, my friend, we'll see what happens, The atmosphere is never right these days. Yeah, so, media is evolving as well. You talk about the AI.
The AI component.
And, that is an area that I think, and I'm speaking from not just media, but generally, because it's going to impact us. It has started to impact us. It has its good and its bad. And in the media needs guidance as it relates to AI. I personally have started a bit of training in AI a few months now. And there's so much that you can do.
I mean, even the avatars. That is an area that is frightening, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Because I could take my voice, I could take Byron's voice, put it on Byron himself in real, but Byron never said these things.
Never said a word.
And that is something that, I saw a program with one of these U.S. highly rated interview program, and the woman was saying that they took her voice in an interview with Byron. That never occurred.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so this is...
All those possibilities are there.
I mean, we've talked about Chris before. I certainly believe that China is teaching AI in primary schools. I think we should at least understand the concept.
I just say, from a national perspective, we need to address it and ensure that our people are fully grasping on to what is happening around us.
Absolutely. So, Shoma, this other point, I can't let you go without it. We're touching a little politics with you, but I want to focus on women and politics generally. I know in the Caribbean, this is the stats, Chris, that it's just under 25% of women are involved in politics, so the men still dominate from a regional point of view. But in Grenada, we've seen a totally different trend.
Correct.
We have, in terms of...
it's 50+%.
50 plus. In other words, we are higher than most of the regions.
63%, I think.
In fact, I was looking at yesterday or today that I saw that Nolene Thompson, for example, the caretaker of the NNP in St. David's, she just set up her executive committee. 11 people. You know how much males?
2?
1.
Oh, okay.
1. So you have 10 women and 1 man.
I would like to be that man.
In this. So I'm saying that the women
He either rule or he be
dominant.
ruled.
In Trinidad, you have a woman prime minister, a woman opposition leader, and a woman governor general. Governor. Or president.
President.
So is Grenada, what does that say for Grenada and the fact that clearly it appears to me that more women are involved? If you take the average, I know it happens at the NNP, there's more women delegates.
We have a governor general as a woman.
We have a governor general that's a woman too.
Opposition leader as a woman.
That's a woman. So clearly, Shoma, where are we going?
Well, you started a conversation with Chris about the young men in society.
Yeah.
And that alone should give you an indication why women are so much involved more in that leadership area, even in politics, than men. And it comes from the same discussions you all would have had earlier on. But I want to say this, a number of years ago, the United Nations called for, I think it was at least 33% of women in politics. And it's funny enough, it was around that time the NNP was in office, and we saw that surge in women in their party.
As a matter of fact, NNP at that time was leading the average.
Yes, So at the end of the day, Byron, women, you remember women, and again, from statistics out of the United Nations, you will find that they tell you that women contribute more to the economy than men.
Absolutely, You have more women in small business.
Exactly.
The informal sector.
Exactly.
Significantly more.
The community shops, the hairdressers, the nail techs, the this, the that.
Absolutely.
Women contribute more to the economy.
Running homes, single parents.
The problem, however, is the cycle is going to go the other way if we don't pull the men along.
Yeah.
Well, you have to.
When the men were dominating and the women were marginalized, it was it was nothing nice. Women have it changed that equation. The men are now marginalized and the women are in positions of leadership and other
colleagues, we're going to have to...
But I want to make one point on that.
Point.
I want to make one point. In spite of the fact that women contribute more to the economy, the men owns the wealth in the economy. Why? Because daddy would always leave the sons the land and so on and so forth and so forth. So she has no big set of ownership because she's married to the man, and the man owns the business, but she runs the business. The man owns the land.
That's changing, Shoma.
Well, I hope
that's a good point. Although in Grenada we have laws that protect that now. A child is a child.
Shoma, so we had to wrap up. Shoma, your final comments to us tonight is Carnival.
Yes,
what do you
it's
say?
Carnival. Queen Show is on tomorrow night. You have soca and so on and so forth. But I mentioned a little fella that speak about the callaloo leaf and the dash.
Yeah, I heard you.
Greece.
But he didn't make the finals.
He didn't. No, he didn't sing that.
Oh, he didn't sing.
He sang another song. I heard
Okay.
he was good, but he didn't make it. But
Yeah.
he came up with this
Yeah.
creative way. And this thing is just, he's going to be on tonight on
Okay.
the Talbury Show, taking
Okay.
a wave across the nation. But I try to remind people, radio stations and what have you, they don't make a hit. Fans make a hit.
Yeah, your fans
It's
make
your
the
fans that go with you and fans determine and
hit.
demand.
So it's not how much you
No,
aired.
it's the fans.
He and his team
Fans
have no
pushes
set
it.
of writing and lyrics, you know. It's one little thing he
Yeah.
said, and
So
but the rhythm.
but we want to
The
say the
rhythm.
important thing, Shoma, is for this carnival, because there's a lot of announcement and promotion in it, that we want people to drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly.
Don't drink and drive.
Walk with your
Take care of
designated
your
driver.
children. Secure your
Secure your
home.
children.
Your parking arrangement. And I was just try to be responsible and hold yourself up. That's
Right.
important. Have fun, but in a clean way as much as possible.
And I want to give you a
school
joke
reopened
before I
in
let's say-
September.
Yes, school in September.
School is at them.
A joke that I understand that Ricardo Keynes Douglas gave in his recent
In
stint
Toronto.
in
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yes.
He said long ago, and folks, bear with me, you used to have to pull the panty to see the bamsi.
Yeah.
Now you have to pull the bamsi to see the panty.
I'm not going to try to repeat this, viewers. That's all the time we
I
have.
love it.
Shoma, we want to
Look, I
thank you
love
very
it.
much. Shoma, we want to thank you very
You're
much for
most
coming on the
welcome.
program. We want to thank MTV, the staff and management. We'll see you. We won't be here next week. It's Carnival, of
Carnival,
course,
yeah.
and Wednesday we have hangover from Carnival, so we'll see you the following week. So be safe, and
Enjoy yourself.
enjoy yourself.
yourself.
Bye bye.